Storytelling is one of the oldest activities of mankind. Since humans started speaking, our ancestors gathered around the fire and shared stories that might be told in the present day. Then, humans invented writings, books, and sophisticated storytelling ways, such as making films with lighting, music, and video effects. With the birth of modern technologies, humans can better enjoy stories by optimizing the effects on our senses. However, simple stories told in primitive ways have not lost their attraction. At present, more and more people have come to see direct and simple storytelling and listening as an important measure for people to emotionally connect with themselves and others, remove barriers in the modern world, which is being overwhelmed by information. In Vietnam, an increasing number of courses have been organized recently to explore storytelling, which have attracted various groups of participants such as business people, teachers, parents, and the youth. Hello and welcome to Sharing Vietnam. The practice of storytelling has been existing for thousands of years in the history of mankind. In the modern day, with advanced communication technologies, storytelling remains a valuable tool for personal development and social progress. In our program today, we'll get to know more about efforts to promote creative storytelling in Vietnam with Narayan Silva, a member of an emerging innovative education center known as Nomads Hanoi. Hello Narayan, thank you so much for joining us today. Well, first of all, could you share some information on your background and the reasons for you to join Nomads Hanoi?
So I was born in Brazil, in Rio, and since I was a teenager, I got very curious and excited about some big questions in life, especially like, who am I, what is my contribution to the world, how can I create something meaningful and positive? And I realized that there was nothing around me supporting that, not in my school, not in with my friends. I had nowhere to find those answers for myself. So I went through the last half of my life in this journey of self-discovery and discovering how I can make my contribution. And I went through a lot of challenges in these last years, and I lived in many, many different countries. And I realized that one of my missions is to support others who also want to discover more of who they are and what they have to give. And Nomads fits that perfectly. The people who had founded Nomads in Hanoi, I've been hearing stories about them and what they were doing, and then Nomads was going to close maybe, and then the founder talked to me and some other people and said, hey, you guys are passionate about this kind of education, do you want to come and support this work? And say, yeah, I'll go have a look. And I came and I was completely in love with the city, with the people, with the community, and yeah, it's an exciting place to be, so okay. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, you studied storytelling in Europe before promoting this skill in Vietnam. So how do you describe the nature of storytelling and the modern development of storytelling in the world?
Well, storytelling is the oldest way of communication. Like I think even before we were speaking or even be able to write, we were already communicating through stories, through narratives. And so it's the way that we've been carrying on knowledge for thousands and thousands of years. It's the way that we've been learning before we created classrooms and all the structures around education. We just gathered around a circle and we were sharing stories and learning from stories. Our survival might depend on being able to tell stories, right? So nowadays there are many technologies, it's much easier to, anyone can have their voice raised and can tell a story, can use in their work, can use in media, and there are so many applications around us. And so nowadays who's able to tell stories well and use as many interesting devices and media, you can get attention because there's so much information, there's so much noise and complexity in the world that being able to make it simple and through a story can really make a huge difference.
So what are some positive impacts of storytelling for personal development and social progress?
Storytelling plays a huge, very important role, especially nowadays. The world is getting more and more polarized. You see there's a lot of truths and a lot of untruths. People are getting clashing more and more with each other. You can see presidential elections in the United States, for example. And then we tend to label people. But if we listen to this person's stories and understand why this person has this opinion, maybe you're not going to agree with this opinion, but at least we can, like, it's actually proven scientifically that by listening to a story, you can feel what the person is feeling. You can reconnect. And I might disagree with you, but if you tell me a story that makes me feel how you feel, we'll be friends and we'll connect and we won't create violence towards each other. So I think this is a very important element of story nowadays.
As you said, storytelling has been practiced for thousands of years in countries around the world, including Vietnam. So what are some unique features of the storytelling workshop by Nomads Hanoi?
We believe, like you said, storytelling has been around for thousands of years. So I believe that every human being you have in your blood, you have in your DNA storytelling. So what we do is we don't come and dump a lot of knowledge and techniques and everything. We provide some tools, some methods, some ways of memorizing and improving stories, but we focus a lot also on what do you already know that you don't even know that you know. And that's a lot of power in it when you realize, wow, I know a lot and I can't tell a story. It's natural for me. And also we create a space that is safe, that many people are really scared of public speaking or telling their story or a story about something else, someone else. And by creating a space of a lot of support or like deep listening and care, people can really open up and be able to achieve their highest potential through stories.
The first storytelling workshop by Nomads Hanoi took place in July 2016. During the 3-day course, young Vietnamese people enjoyed multiple games and exercises in a youthful and friendly environment. The diverse activities helped them overcome fears to develop public speaking, improve short-term memory, and emotionally connect with themselves and others. Like many other innovative courses offered by Nomads Hanoi, the participants learn how to apply the storytelling skill in nurturing joy in the world, developing success and happiness for themselves and communities.
Em thấy rằng là chương trình Nomads Hà Nội là một chương trình mà có rất nhiều điểm khác biệt và đặc biệt so với những chương trình em đã học trước đây. Thứ nhất là em thấy đặc biệt ở cái môi trường của các bạn trẻ tham dự vào trong khóa học, thì em thấy tất cả những cái bạn tham dự ở đây đều là những bạn trẻ rất là năng động và rất là sáng tạo, và các bạn có một cái hoài bão rất là lớn, làm được một cái gì đó không chỉ cho bản thân mà còn có ích cho cộng đồng và cho xã hội. Thứ hai nữa là đây là một cái môi trường với cả phương pháp giáo dục rất là tiến bộ.
Nomads Hanoi was founded by a Vietnamese NGO known as the Center for Sustainable Development Studies in cooperation with Holland-based Nomads Amsterdam, and is dedicated to people from 20 to 30 years old who want to change the world for the better. Nomads Hanoi offers non-formal education programs with the participation of professional trainers from various countries and backgrounds. Some basic principles of the center include respect of individuals, action-oriented approach, emotional connection, open communication, and proactive choice. Narayan, how do you describe the response of young Vietnamese people towards the storytelling workshop that you facilitated?
The response has been overwhelmingly positive. People got much more than they thought. They thought, oh, I'm going to get some techniques, some methods of storytelling, but actually they got much more. Some were very shy and they got the confidence to be able to speak in front of others. And also what happened naturally is that we created a community, because the space was so beautiful and safe to learn together and to tell deep stories, that actually now we have a community that meets once a month to tell stories. So we all prepare personal stories or fictional stories, and we gather to tell stories to each other and to connect again. And we are becoming very good friends, actually, which is great. And at the end, that's what it's all about, right? It's connection, it's being human and being with each other.
And in general, what is your impression after interacting with many young Vietnamese people so far?
Yeah, something that I highly admire about young Vietnamese is that they're extremely curious. So you can see these eyes and this heart of curiosity about the world, about the differences, and about other people, other cultures. So every time that I meet new people, they ask actually very good questions. So we easily get to good conversations. They're also very open to make friends with. So I feel so comfortable and at home. Here I feel very welcome the whole time. And also there's another thing that I really enjoy is that they are very entrepreneurial. So people are really always trying to like do something, and you're not satisfied with something, just go and try to create something to improve whatever is happening around them, or create a little business there that's going to help their family or other people. I think it's really cool. You don't see that everywhere.
So how does storytelling help with developing young Vietnamese people's entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I would say that without storytelling, it's very likely that you won't go very far, because nowadays to convince or to invite people into giving you funding or to giving you any kind of support, you need to be able to tell the story of your product or the story of your organization, because there are so many similar things. We all think what we're doing is very innovative, but actually there's a lot of similarities in all those startups and a lot of new apps. And so the people that are working together and how they tell their stories and how they show themselves to the world through stories can be the big differentiator that makes you different, that makes you engaging, that makes you inspiring.
Well, Vietnam is trying to reform our education system to tackle some long-lasting weaknesses. So what do you think of the possibility to improve our education system with storytelling?
Yeah, it's not only in Vietnam. I remember in history class, for example, in school, the students were each one read a chunk of text from the history book, and I don't remember anything that I learned. But imagine if we only got a piece of the history and each group tells stories to each other. How much more engaging and how much more memory would stay, and how much more we would connect to the other parts of the world, and to not only facts but how actually the world has been changing and how it connects to us. But also I think storytelling is a way that not only the students they learn, but also the teachers as well. So it's a pleasant way of learning and growing for both. So it's a two-way thing. And like for me, for example, I'm only here today because of storytelling. So when I had a teacher that used to tell stories about his travels around the world, and he used to tell the stories about Egypt and the pyramids and his adventures there, and I don't remember much about his classes, to be honest, but I remember the stories, and I was so fascinated, and that's created this spark, this creativity, this imagination that stayed here for years. And then when I got the chance, I took it, and I've been around the world for years, and this has changed me completely. And it was because of stories of one teacher.
Narayan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Well, that's all for our Sharing Vietnam today. Hopefully, more and more young Vietnamese people will have opportunities to practice creative storytelling for personal development and social progress. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again next time.